What's up, everyone? I am Brent Gallagher, and today I am with Miss Angie Parker. Hello, Angie.
Hello.
So each one of these interviews has been a pretty candid, open conversation, just to kind of give you I think, peek back behind the curtain to help you understand what's it like to be an Avenu trainer during this quarantine season. Some of you think, hey, you know what, we've hit this in full stride. We've never skipped a beat. We're robots, and this is not doing anything to disrupt our routine. And these conversations, like I said, are designed to kind of help you understand that we're human. We're just like you. We have our own challenges, our own obstacles that we're trying to get through to continue keeping ourselves fit and healthy, to continue eating healthy throughout this season of time. And then I think more importantly, just to keep ourselves sane. So with that in mind, Angie, we're going to go into these three questions that we have. And the first one simply is, what are you doing right now during this time? We've been closed down for 42 days. What are you doing to keep yourself healthy?
You know, it's finding time when for me, with the way my life's structured right now, it's finding time within the hours I'm here to get a workout in. It does not happen for me at home. I've got two very small children, one under the age of 5 months. And so for me, it's carving out, even if it's only 10, 15 minutes in my day here at Avenu to get some sort of workout in, whether might even be just soft tissue work and mobility, stretching, but I've got to get something in here in order to meet that, check that box for me and make sure that I'm staying active and staying healthy and staying mobile. For me too, it's like, hey, I'm doing more meal planning than I ever have before. While we're at home and we're not running around and doing anything, I've got to have that structure, because when I hit the door now, it's game on, mom. And if I don't have that planned out, it crunches that 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., those 2 hours, and it makes it chaos. So a lot of meal planning, which obviously makes grocery shopping easier for me, because if I already know what I need, I'm on that side of it already. But finding that time to get something in while I'm here and having that set up, like, all right, I already know what's for dinner tonight. It's thawed, it's in the fridge, we're ready.
Yeah, no, so the awesome thing, and I promise y'all that we have not teed up these questions like literally 2 seconds before we jumped on this. I let her know what I was going to ask, but it is so funny because every single trainer has said the same thing. They fought to get back to routine. As soon as the closure went down, they knew what they needed to do. As Angie was alluding to, is saying, like, I've got to get my workout in during this period of time. She knows the boundaries of which it's going to happen. And if she does not get it in within that time period, it's not going to happen, because as soon as she goes home, it's, as she said, it's full on mom. And then the other side of it, it is the food preparation. It is, how can I make sure that I'm building myself up with healthy foods during the season versus a reactive when she gets home. I would imagine it's like kids, there's, obviously diaper stage right now for the youngest. I mean, it's like, it is not an easy time to be quarantined at home. And so I think for her is setting those boundaries up, again, meal preparation, and then making sure she gets her workout in at set periods of time is going to be a key. And it's a key, I think, for most of you listening to as well, is if it's on the schedule, then you're going to get it done. So, but we know, and I think maybe you could probably offer a little bit of insight into this. Structure is great. Boundaries are great. But we do know that 5-month-olds do not really keep a schedule like we want them to. So a planned nap time might become a, you know what, I've got to work straight through it. They're not going to sleep, feeding time. And then also you have a little bit older one there. Axel is how old now?
He's 4.
4, yes, and he's running around.
He's busy. He's busy.
He's a busy bee. So we know those things can throw you off. But what are some things that have been, I think just a struggle for you? Where have been some challenges to say, hey, yeah, I do try to get it in here when I'm working here, and I do try to meal plan, but where do you fall off the wagon? Do you run to the fridge for something? Do you go, reach for the pantry for something? What is it for you that kind of I think throws a monkey in the wrench there with it?
Well, I will say this. I mean, while Zoe, the 5-month-old, she's a good sleeper. We're far from great, and we're far from getting all the way through the night. So my sleep is less than perfect by a long shot. And I'm finding I've got to really be in tune to, am I hungry around 3 in the afternoon when I get home? Or am I trying to keep myself awake? And I know what it is. I'm trying to keep myself awake because I'm tired. It's long hours at home. It's not getting all that sleep. And so I'm going, wow, I could really use something to eat right now. And I'm not reaching for the carrots. I'm not reaching for the celery. So that is my tell to me that I'm struggling with, okay, my lack of sleep is causing my appetite to act up because it was trying to keep me awake. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing that I've had to tell with is like, okay, I got to watch that, the pantry's right there for all of us. And for me, it's like, okay, what do I need to stay away from? I'm not. And so in that point, right, too, is like, okay, so if I feel that coming on, it's like, all right, maybe we need to get outside, guys. Let's get outside for a little bit. Let's go do something active so that I don't keep thinking, oh, I'm hungry. Because I can rationalize myself into thinking like, oh yeah, I am really hungry. And then going and eating something that I don't need to be eating.
Right. No, I think that's a huge, again, it goes back to this key sense of self-awareness that, Angie's talking about there, that if you listen to these conversations, everybody on the Avenu team is talking about. It's that they are self-aware to know. And I think, Angie, you're the first one to kind of hit on it, to say, hey, when my sleep isn't right, my food's going to be off. I'm going to feel hungry and I'm going to do something to try to keep myself awake. But, you think about this. So let's just say it's late in the evening, and you're not necessarily really going to sneak outside at 9 o'clock at night. You're going to drive the kids out there with you. So you never know. You might, crazy times right now. But you go, hey, for someone, just to kind of encourage them, I think in that moment of saying, hey, there's a point of weakness. I don't sleep well at all, and I'm raiding the fridge, I'm raiding the pantry. What is it, something that you could say to someone right now to help them say, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't the best idea for me right now?
I think this, like you said, the self-awareness, right? I mean, you've got to really be able to stop. And we've talked about this in many facets before on our team. Can you stop yourself long enough to ask why you're doing something? Why am I opening the fridge door? Why am I opening the pantry door? If you can stop and take that pause, there's your encouragement right there, because it's that self, you understand why you're doing it. And the habit can be broken when you understand why you're doing it.
Yeah. No, that's huge. That's huge. I think that now it's pausing in the moment, and this is putting you on the spot here, is like what would be that best thing? So when you reach for that handle, what could be a good reminder? I mean, I'm kind of at a loss there. Is like, would you say there's something that someone could do to remind themselves in that moment?
Well, what I've done, to be honest, is I've stocked up on coconut water. I was never a big coconut water fan, but I was like, okay, if I reach for that handle, I've got something there that is safe for me, but I have safe foods, right? I'm not going to be like, God, I really want that carrot. No, but I've got something sweet there that's not going to be detrimental to me, and I'm not going to overindulge on it. But that's what I've done. I've prepped with my grocery shopping in order to have those moments and say, you know what, I'm just going to have a big old swig of coconut water or something like that. So I get my sweet, but then I can walk away from it, and my stomach feels full. My brain receptors are like, okay, yeah, she's put something in it, right? But I kind of preloaded that on the grocery side list to say, hey, I know I'm going to have those moments. And so what can I have there, instead of just walking away and being like, woo, yeah, I've got such self-discipline, right? I mean, come on, we are not going to do that. So what can you have there in order to offset that and still get your fix, but not get the wrong fix?
Yeah, I think it is. So most of us see the treats in the cabinets and stuff there as that reward. Say, hey, I've been having such a stressful day, I deserve this type of thing. But as you're saying, is maybe stock it up with smart stuff that you can say, you know what, hey, it's maybe not a pint of ice cream, maybe it's not the cookies, maybe it's not the crackers, maybe it's whatever it is that's your kind of cup of tea, but it's something smart that kind of gives you a little bit of the hit, a little bit of the fix that you're looking for. But I think it is one of those things too, as well, as you alluded to, is like, it's just self-awareness throughout this entire process. And in what you've built, I'm sure it didn't come overnight. I'm sure it hasn't happened in the last couple of days. It's been years and years and years and years of practicing this. And I think it's too, as well, it's a lot of forgiving yourself along the way. If you reach in there and you're like, you know what,
absolutely,
I'm actually going to go for this today. If you do that, just own it. Just say, hey, you know what, today's one of those days. I'm going to freaking own it. But on the flip side, if that day becomes every day, then we've got a little bit of a question for it all. So, but
well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think you nailed it too. And that goes into my workouts as well. If I don't get it in, or I just don't have the motivation that day because I only slept 2 or 3 hours between, kid to kid, it's okay, right? Yeah. I've got to be able to, I always tell my athletes this when I train them, like for triathlon, if you miss a day, live for the next one, right? You got to be able to roll past that bad decision so that the next day you don't make it again. Right? You got to be able to forgive yourself. Just forgive yourself. Don't let the guilt and the shame wear on you all day. Say, you know what? I did. I reached for the ice cream today, but tomorrow I'm not gonna.
That's it. I mean, I think we're going to finish on that note, because it sums it all up. I mean, the self-awareness to forgive yourself, and then continue to say, hey, you know what, tomorrow's a new day. So Angie, thank you so much for just kind of enlightening us with a little bit of your day-to-day routine and some of the struggles and stuff there. But thank you to each one of you too as well for tuning in. As we always said, we're working through the entire Avenu team. So if you have a chance to come back to these, just know that you might pick up on a little bit of insight that you could hold us accountable to in the future about some of our challenges and stuff. So thank you again once again, when we'll see you next time around.
Bye.